So yesterday we started this, chapter 3. We're on page 20. I can't ever see the page numbers. 26. Yeah, I can't see them because I write right through the numbers. We did 7 and 8. That's what I thought. So now we're on page 27, number 9. How does the expanding universe prove a beginning? Yes.
Well, because the universe is proved to have been expanding from a single point that is infinitesimally small, all right?
Mm-hmm.
We can trace all of the universe and everything in it back to that one point of nothing. And because there was nothing outside of that, there had to have been something that started that, right?
Right, that had to be outside.
Exactly.
That had to be not part of space. That was self-existent. Sure sounds like a definition of God. It's like, and I think that the book kind of likens it to watching a movie backwards. If you've ever done that, and it goes back to the beginning. I would liken it in a way to a firework. Like if you're on 4th of July, you're watching and you see, you're like, where did that come from? It must have come from nowhere. No, you would know that somewhere someone lit that puppy and it took off, right? So you wouldn't assume that it had always been there. You wouldn't assume that it came from nowhere. You'd assume somebody caused that firework. Sense? Okay. So number 10, what are some views espoused? That's a good word, espoused. It just means claimed by or made by. It's a much better word than claimed or made. And it's a good, so what are some views espoused by atheists that offer explanations of the existence of the universe? So what are some alternate theories is what this is asking. Yes, Sarah?
The cosmic rebound.
Yes, what does that mean?
The universe is like expanding.
Yeah, so the universe just does this. Back and forth, right? Good sound effects, right? What were you going to say, John? Don't make good granite forever. Yeah. Why can that not be true?
Because again, the second law of thermodynamics, like it wouldn't have enough energy to keep exploding forever.
Right. And again, the universe is expanding from a single point. We don't see any contraction. We only see expansion. And obviously, as Seth said, that if the universe has been expanding forever, it would have died down by now. Yes.
Because I think the universe is like, I don't know, like, not silly putty, but you know those like stretchy hands, how if you like pull it apart, they like come back together and let go. Like, is that how they think of it?
Just a bit bigger. And in multiple dimensions. But yes.
There's also the fact that there's not enough like mass anywhere to actually bring the universe back together.
Right.
Unless, say, some supernatural force did it, which would again prove their point.
There's nothing in the universe that could cause the universe. What's another alternative theory? Yes.
I'm gonna try to figure out how to describe it because I wasn't 100% sure what they were talking about, but like imaginary time, and I think it was proposing like that the world kind of started in this like time outside of real time. Is that what he was saying?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but just the word imaginary should tell you that it's not real. I know my kids thought that like Belle was real. Katie thought she was. I cried when Katie met Cinderella on the cruise because Katie thought she was really meeting Cinderella, and Cinderella was and is her heroine. And I'm just like, and I knew it wasn't Cinderella, but she thought it was. That's just imagination. So yeah, it says it turns out that it's an imaginary theory. There's been nothing to suggest that there is such a thing as imaginary self. What's another one? Yes. Sorry.
The uncertainty theory.
Yes.
Like, why? They're saying because we can't predict where electrons are, we can only predict the range, that we like can't know where the universe started, or something like that. What I picked up on it though, it's like they're trying to say, since you can't measure water by just using your eyeball to the exact millimeter, that means you can't identify what a building is. They're connecting to unrelated things.
Yeah, that's good. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So maybe sort of, kind of, could, maybe, I don't know. Could be a Santa Claus.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
How do you know this was?
And then the other thing that I believe, if I remember correctly, is that the law of causality is the exception to the rule. About that. I mean, then you can't even do science. If the law of causality is not law, science dies. All of science dies, including imaginary theories and uncertainty. Yes.
Yeah, at least when I was trying to read it, that's what the whole law of uncertainty thing was pretty much doubting theories that had already been established. I don't know if I didn't read what I was supposed to.
Yes.
I did not get
No, well, you got the gist, and you're right. So that's really, I don't understand everything. I'm teaching. And then one that I don't think that they mentioned, but it's multiverse. So that there are multiple universes. We talked about this a little bit when we talked about the article. But there's no proof of multiple universes. And even if there were, then how did the first one get here? How did the one that spun us off get here? And then if there was another one, how did that? And how do we ever even come close? Um, really, all of this comes about because of the worldview of the scientists coming up with the theories and rejecting the possibility of the supernatural. Yes, Rose.
I read something a couple years ago about this, like, there's when Stephen Hawking was still alive, and this little girl was like sad that One Direction broke up, so she emailed Stephen Hawking and was like, is there like a universe where there could possibly be a universe where well, the theory of multiple universes could happen. And like I know it's weird that like
I don't know if that's weirder or that it's
I mean,
There's no other universe.
there's like infinite universes and then there's
They're
never one.
unique play hard.
I also it's cool every time going right back to someone about someone.
My guess is that since Hawking wasn't a bad guy,
Yeah.
he probably was just trying to help this little
Yeah,
girl
yeah, he
feel
was.
better.
Yeah.
Mrs. User?
Yeah.
So the fact that like multiple universes are basically just a copy of like us, and then just I wore a blue shirt today, wearing a red shirt, so that's a different universe. Kind of feels really weird because then that would just be like, okay, so you're not really that special because there's a bunch of yous out.
You're not really special. It just feels really weird that there's a bunch of other youths that just make different decisions and better decisions than ours.
Right,
So,
and part of that whole atheistic worldview is that everything's including us. And multiple universes, like you said, kind of line up with that. Yeah.
I've always thought it was like kind of weird. A lot of people who believe there's multiple universes believe that there's like a universe where every different thing is a possibility. So there's like pretty much like every one of them. But if there was a universe that like so wouldn't there then be a universe in the multiverse where the multiverse wasn't if there was different possibilities for each thing?
I suppose if there is a possibility,
So
so
it's
that,
like a lot of people
but that doesn't make sense
it
either.
doesn't
Yeah.
Two things. The thing with the multiverse thing, right? So the idea is that there are lots of different universes, right? And each decision that, or like each event that happens, creates another universe where that thing didn't happen, or the opposite of that thing happened. And so then it becomes an exponential growth from that. And then the other thing that I wanted to say was that one time last year, for basketball, we ended up being put in the girls' locker room just because they didn't have to. And in there, they had a picture, a massive poster of Justin Bieber and a massive poster of One Direction. And it made me very uncomfortable.
I think it would. So.
How would you feel if we had a picture of Jennifer Lopez on that?
Okay.
Exactly.
Let's do that. Let's talk about the first thing you were talking about, right? It still needs scientific evidence. Yes.
Yeah, so again, like with the multiverse, it kind of reigns off like the chaos theory, sort of, which, when you think about it, it isn't actually true. Like, any event can be perfectly recreated if you have all the variables. Like, if we knew all the different things, all the different variables, then we would know exactly what happened. There was no chance for you to wear, like, a blue shirt today because that's not how the variables lined up. But again, like,
Takes away free will.
not really. It's more like
Kind of.
kind of a more complicated version of like you're a product of your surroundings. Sort of.
Exactly.
But if we have free will, there's no way to predict
Exactly, and we don't know it, but like again,
we
God
have,
does.
and there's no way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even think that there would be an infinite amount of universes in the universe because there still is like a finite amount of choices where everyone can make. I mean, there's still a crap ton, but it's not going to be infinite.
What is the
Crap ton.
I can't say.
Answer.
Yes.
The question of consciousness is what bothers me the most about the multiverse theory. Because, like, I remember when I was 7, I was like, man, when I die, I'm not going to be able to comprehend that I'm dead. I'm like, that's really weird. Like, I can't, the world around us, we experience because of our consciousness. So, how can you tell me there's someone exact with me with the exact same consciousness? Like, how would that even work? That it wouldn't. And let's say we're in the same place at the same time. Like it just doesn't make sense. You would think that if there were another universe beside you, you would be conscious of that too. And like let's say you die, it would make sense for you to be conscious of that universe as well. And like there have been theories like, oh, that's where deja vu comes from or whatever. But that comes from memory gaps. And and the idea of consciousness means that there's literally no way to prove that there is another universe because you're not conscious of anything that happens there. So even if it were real, there's no way to prove it. And so it's almost like making up a new religion and calling it true because I said so. Like it doesn't make sense.
The fact that, like, going off of deja vu, the fact that the theory was just like, okay, so get this. Your other self in another universe. And first of all, how would that other person find out about the universe? How would they find out on how to do that? Because look at us. I don't have any powers and any specific powers. Like, really,
But theoretically, on that other universe, you're sure.
So how would if we were kind of like the other universes were like us, our consciousness and our brains, but I experience it just a bit, and just it kind of is like, oh, I'm not that smart, so how would I do that?
I would
We're
want
going to
to
do
talk to
Aubrey, we're going
Reed.
to do Roy, but then we need to move
So
on.
if you're gonna go
With
self-awareness or not,
the different variable things that Seth brought up, I
would want to
feel like I've always sort of thought of it as like, yes, theoretically you could wear a blue shirt or you could wear a red shirt, but the thing is that at the end of the day you are only going to pick one, and there's a 100% possibility that you're going to pick that because it is going to pick. And like, I don't know if that exactly makes sense. And it's like, yes, you could have on the red shirt, but the thing is that you didn't and you weren't going to.
Because we're free agents.
Yeah, so it's like there is
And then
not really like variables. There is that free will, but it like doesn't seem like there's only like one variable. But that's because you have the will to pick that, and that is what you do.
Okay, Roy, and then we're going to move on.
Why, if any of my other selves found a way to communicate with other universes, us at all? Like,
Because
we're not.
even the people who don't think we're not special inside think we're special.
Like if it's infinite amount of them, obviously
there's
a
not.
lot better.
Yeah.
It's not an infinite amount. It's not an infinite amount. It's just an
Well,
amount that
diverse, I mean, like, I guess a lot of them.
it's like a parabola where it's going to
Not
infinity,
where
but it's
we're going.
well, we're saying there's not an infinite amount. It is a finite amount,
Yeah.
but it's a infinite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. This is one of the reasons why I like to videotape you guys. This is good stuff. So number 11. In the end, why don't these atheistic theories adequately explain the existence of the universe? Yes, John. Yeah, there's either not the evidence or it goes against the law of causality, which is the cornerstone of science. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say something similar, like the universe had a beginning and cause, and so all of these theories kind of try and play around the idea that there was a beginning, but they don't exactly disprove it. So there's, like, even the very base they stand on isn't history.
Yes.
They try to say that there was a 3D universe, but that violates the second law of thermodynamics.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And then the assumption that there is no God, that there is no first cause, colors everything about their science. But science isn't based on presuppositions, right? It's going where the science leads us, wherever that is. Not saying, okay, well, before we start, there can't be a God. What if there is? Or before we start, there can't be such a thing as gravity. What is there? It's not. Then the science is going to be wrong. Whatever presupposition you have is wrong. The science is wrong, and that's what we're seeing in this. Okay, so you think teaching here 10 years? I remember 46. I remember when. Okay, so open your books. I'm just going to let you do this. I was going to read aloud, but I'm just going to let you do it because it'll go faster. You're going to read, and I'll put it up here. You're going to read pages 88 to 94. And then you're going to do a quick 12. And then we'll stop with that. Okay? And if everybody gets done before the class is over, but I don't know that you will, then we'll discuss it. But I think just do a good job on reading and answering.